Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Cup of Joe Show. I'm Joe, that's Jeremy. We're here to bring you a special, jam-packed episode filled with, we actually spent an hour trying to figure out what we were going to talk about, and we have done it. With the help of my sister, we have come up with a topic that could be interesting, and could be pretty terrible. So, stay tuned. We're coming up with since people are going back to school, they're already back in school, but either one, they've gone back if they're in college probably, or they're just about to go back, probably this Monday if they're in grade school or high school. So, back to school, kids. Yeah, I'm happy I don't have to go back there. Anyway, we've compiled a list of our favorite school movies of all time. You could debate whether these are school movies or whatever, but we have compiled a list of 10 movies each. We are going to... Let's spend time on the top 5, but let's roll through the top 10.
Okay.
I mean the 6 through 10 we'll roll through.
Okay.
All right.
Honorable mentions.
Honorable mentions. My number 10 is D3, The Mighty Ducks. It is not the best Mighty Ducks movie, but it's fine.
My number 10 was Easy A, which is a solid high school flick all around. Good performance from Emma Stone. I think it was a little too meta for its own good, but yeah.
Okay. Number 9, I actually have The Breakfast Club. Comments go crazy. I know, it's really low. I didn't really care for The Breakfast Club. But it just kind of belongs there, and it has that song.
Don't You Forget About Me?
Yes, yeah. La 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 la. Oh, yeah. Yes, exactly.
But anyway, so my number 9 was Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and very solid flick all around, embodies the high school experience pretty well. I guess if your high school experience consisted of ditching school and other things, being in parades and whatnot, but yeah, it's good.
Twist and Shout. Anyway, I have number 8, I have Billy Madison. Very funny comedy, brings me back to Adam Sandler being funny. Very, very good movie.
At 8 on my list, I have High School Musical. I liked this movie when it came back out. It still has very, very catchy songs, and it introduced the world to Zac Efron, who is still in the occasional movie, including this weekend's We Are Your Friends.
We Are Your Friends.
So that's something at least. He's very attractive.
I was gonna say talented, but yeah, he's attractive too. I've got at number 7, I have Legally Blonde. This is actually a movie that I saw and I didn't think it was going to be any good. I was on a bus trip, so it was just on, and I laughed a lot. Legally Blonde is a really good movie. I suggest it, even if you don't think it's targeted at you. It's hilarious. It has hilarious parts, such as, "Donna stomp your last year's Prada shoes at me, honey." That's it. Oh, it's great. It's great. Have you ever seen Legally Blonde?
I've never seen
You
it.
watch the movie. Oh my god. And then quote that all the time.
Okay. So that was your number 7?
Yes.
My number 7 was Billy Madison. And considering these are supposed to be honorable mentions and you already talked about it, well, we're good.
That works. I have number 6, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. You covered it. We're good.
My number 6, Old School. And Old School is a bit different from most of the other movies on these lists, which are teenagers and or college people, and this is middle-aged people. But that's part of what makes it so funny.
That's true. Actually, at my number 5, cracking the top 5 is Old School. Hilarious movie. Will Ferrell's hilarious. Vince Vaughn, when he was hilarious. It has a... I mean, Luke Wilson isn't really that funny, but he kind of fits the role. It's just, it's an all-around, it's a funny movie. It's a very quotable movie as well. Old School, number 5.
My number 5 is Superbad. Superbad was the movie that introduced Jonah Hill and especially Michael Cera to a lot of people. And overall, I think it's a very solid flick. It's funny, it's raunchy, but it also has a little bit of it has some heart too. Also introduced the world Emma Stone, even though her hair drives me crazy in that movie, and I don't know how she sees with her bangs. But anyway, really really solid movie all around.
You're right with the heart thing. That's what some of these high school movies and stuff are missing these days. You see Project X and 21 and Over. Waste of my life. Anyway.
You saw both of those?
Yeah, I saw both those movies. Yeah, I don't know why. Anyway, I still think Project X is one of the worst movies, ever. Just ever. But anyway, Stand and Deliver. I have Stand and Deliver at number 4. Edward James Olmos teaching kids calculus. This movie is, in all honesty, this movie it's great. It's great. It has Lou Diamond Phillips. I don't know why that adds to the film, but it has Lou Diamond Phillips, and it's just kind of one of those films where when it ends, you're just like, yes, yes, and it's weird that you're acting like that because it's just calculus. So who cares? But that's why the movie's great, because you care about calculus, and it's just so awesome. It's just about this teacher taking over underprivileged kids and teaching them calculus, and it's actually great. So, hats off to Stand and Deliver. The movie's awesome. I'm not even kidding.
I've never seen it, but I feel like I should.
You should. It's awesome.
I like the South Park episode where they parody it. But how do I reach these kids? But anyway.
Continue. That's hilarious. I have to look at that episode.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
So, in my, wait, that was your number 4, right?
Yes.
Okay, so my number 4 is American Pie. Now, American Pie came out in 1999, so, for me it was kind of, I was only 10 at the time-ish or something like that. So it was kind of my first introduction into the whole raunchy thing. I, stole my brother's DVD and then watched it secretly, that kind of thing. And so, in all honesty, it's actually a pretty solid movie all around. It's like Superbad, it's funny and raunchy, but it also has some surprising heart to it. And, at the end, things kind of come together for people in ways that make sense and you can get behind.
Right. And number 3, I have Jump Street. 21 Jump Street and 22 Jump Street. I think we're calling that a franchise.
Yeah.
21 Jump Street, I didn't think it was going to be funny at all, and it was hilarious. And then 22 Jump Street, I doubted that as well, and it was pretty much just as hilarious, at least in my opinion. It's so funny, and obviously dealing with school. They're undercover, but they're in school. Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill are great. Ice Cube, just unbelievably hilarious. Love the Jump Street movies.
Funnily enough, my number 3 pick is also the Jump Street series.
Whoa.
And, my esteemed colleague here pretty much nailed it. Fantastic performances all around, just hilarious. Very, very meta, very self-aware, pokes, even the
True.
bad parts of the movie and, the idea of the movie itself, they poke fun at that. So,
Exactly.
That's always good. Just, fantastic writing and everything. Just really, really good movies.
That was a good point on your part. My number 2 is Animal House. Animal House is really one of the... it's a classic, obviously, and that's why it totally belongs here. It's amazing that's on my... I don't know exactly when it came out, what year it came out, but it's old. It's before my time. I want to say 70s for some reason.
I think it was the 70s.
70s? Okay.
Late 70s.
We're going to say late 70s on that. And I swear to God, you pop this movie in, it's still funny to this day. It's just, it's timeless. And, that's when you know, a movie's amazing and it's a classic is you can pop it in today and it'll be just as funny to this generation of people that it was back then, and that's truly impressive.
Yeah.
And that's what Animal House has. I mean, was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? Like, just something as simple as that. Germans? Let him go, he's rolling. It's just like, it's just, everything is so funny about that movie. Still holds up today.
I've never seen Animal House, so
Shoot.
I guess it's another one I'll have to add to my must-see list. My number 2 pick is The Breakfast Club. Now, The Breakfast Club is in a lot of ways the quintessential high school movie. You know, it's also very, very 80s. It's very steeped in the milieu of whatever, of that time period and everything. So, I feel like to people of a different generation, it's a bit, you might not be into the vibe of it or whatever, but I am, clearly. Great cast overall, and it's just it's basically just the 5 people in detention. They're in the school for the entire movie, and it's just nothing but, their interactions and how, the 5, archetypes that you'll see in school, like the jock and the nerd, and, everything like that.
The princess!
Yeah, exactly.
Is that the line?
Something like that.
Line. No.
But anyway, and how those roles aren't, they're stereotypes and they aren't exactly true, and how all those stereotypes have different layers to them, and that comes out in the film.
Right. But the thing is, like, I get The Breakfast Club, I just don't really like it that much. That's all. But anyway, sorry. I didn't really have to add my 2 cents there, but I just did.
Okay.
Unfortunately. And we don't edit. We don't edit, so it's there now.
It's there.
Anyway, you all know what number 1 is. You all know what number 1 is. It's Mean Girls. I mean, how could you not put Mean Girls number 1? Like, how could you not? This movie is hilarious. This movie is extremely quotable. And it's legitimately quotable for every, 2 minutes of dialogue. You could pull out 100 lines from this film. And it's hilarious. At least. It's hilarious. It's just like, the writing by Tina Fey, amazing. I mean, we know that Tina Fey is amazing, but she wrote Mean Girls and starred in it. It's spectacular, right? From top to bottom. Anything that you could put Lindsay Lohan in, and she's amazing. I mean, you've done something right, and they really did everything right here. Interestingly enough, my favorite character in the film is the principal, but it could be anybody. It could be anybody you identify with.
My favorite character is Kevin Napor.
I was gonna say the math lead, the lead math lead. I figured.
Especially his raps during the talent show.
that is hilarious. It is hilarious.
Which is a bit profane, so.
I guess I guess not. But all junior girls report to the gymnasium immediately. Immediately. Boom.
Yeah.
There you go. There's some quotes.
Yeah.
You
So my
got
number 1
anything more
pick.
to say?
Mean Girls.
Mean Girls. That's it. Drop the mic. Mean Girls. There you go.
Basically.
That's it.
Yeah.
You got anything more to say?
I just think it's, in some ways you could argue that The Breakfast Club is the quintessential, teen movie or whatever, but I think, for our generation, I mean, it's hard to believe Mean Girls is 11 years old at this point, but it's kind of like our generation's, and it's just an extremely well-constructed movie from start to finish. Good plot, good characters, fantastic writing, extremely quotable. Yeah.
The teacher runs in to the principal's office and just says, "The girls have gone wild," and he turns around and he grabs a bat and walks into the hallway, and that's way down in the 57th funniest thing in that movie. There are 56 funnier things in the film, so that's Mean Girls. it's awesome.
Yeah.
Watch it. Pop it in. So, anyway, that's our school segment. I hope you enjoyed it. Let's move on.
Okay.
Let's talk about the box office.
Touch on that. Well, I think I kind of got into this last week, but we're in that time of year where the box office is just awful, and it's going to be awful for a couple more weeks. So, normally we start with number 5, but I guess I'll touch on number 6, which was American Ultra. That opened to 5.5 million. That's horrible. Movie didn't look good, so I mean it's not surprising. So I'm not sure why this movie was even made.
No.
Anyway, number 5 was The Man from U.N.C.L.E. That was down 46% to 7.3 million, total of 26.5, and I just noticed that it has a budget of 75 million. Sorry, Henry.
Yeah.
Number 4 was Hitman Agent 47, and that opened to 8.3. Another movie where you're just like, why was this made? Speaking of movies that shouldn't be made, number 3 was Sinister 2. That opened to 10.5 million. I don't really remember what the first one opened to, but it was a lot more than that. I think it might have been over 20.
But that movie will probably still profit because it probably only cost like $5 million or something. Okay, so it cost 10. Right.
So,
maybe it'll just make it back then.
Yeah, probably. It probably won't make more than like 25 in total.
Yeah.
So anyway, our number 2 movie was Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. That was down just 33% to 11.5 million, giving it a total of 157.5. So, Rogue Nation continues to do pretty well at the box office. It's definitely benefiting from a lack of competition, and will continue to do so for a while. So, again, not going to get to 200, but 185-ish would be quite good, and it should do very well overseas. So our number 1 movie for the second week in a row was Straight Outta Compton. That fell 56% to 26.4 million, and that gives it a total of 111.1. That's already more in total than I thought this was going to make, and it's definitely got some money left to make because, again, as we've been saying, or as I've been saying, there's going to be very little competition, so Straight Outta Compton could honestly be number 1 for 4 straight weeks, the way things are looking. So, again, with that drop, you definitely see that the opening weekend was fairly front-loaded, but, I mean, it still made a ton of money, so, and on a $28 million budget, so.
Exactly, yeah, I was going to say the budget's pretty small on
but
that
it's
one.
Probably barely even going to get released overseas.
Exactly, yeah.
So.
Yeah. I can't see anyone overseas wanting to see a movie about NWA. But, to each his own. Yeah, I bet those movies are really happy that Fantastic Four was so bad. So I really thought that was going to be the movie that was going to, like, stop, like, a Mission Impossible run, or...
Yeah, for the record, Fantastic Four was, I think, 10th. Like, it's going to be out of theaters in, like, 2 weeks.
It's going to be straight out of theaters. Boom. Yes. One of the greatest marketing campaigns of all time. Straight out of Compton memes.
It was pretty good.
Love it. So, yeah, that covered it. We have a minute left, so No Escape with Owen Wilson is coming out this weekend. Came out. And Pierce Brosnan. I liked Behind Enemy Lines, and it's kind of reminded me of it. But I don't know. It looks kind of cheesy, and I don't know. It doesn't look that good. And I like Pierce Brosnan actually, but I don't know. This doesn't look like anything.
Yeah, I'm not really sold on it. That scene where they throw the girl across the roof just looks ridiculous, and it's like they're trying to make that the selling point of the trailer.
Yeah.
So anyway, No Escape is probably not going to make 10 million.
Yeah.
We also have We Are Your Friends, and if the Thursday night preview numbers are anything to go by, We Are Your Friends might struggle to make it to 5 million. So, again, Zac Efron, I like him, very talented, but he's got to pick better projects.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about this film. I just know it exists.
Yeah.
So, that's it. Alright, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next